Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Inshallah, today we'll continue with the tafsir clips. And in today's tafsir clip, we're going to delve into one of the verses of the Quran that is situated in the 8th juz of the Quran. These are verses 12 through 16 of Suratul A'raf. When you look at these verses, these are verses that have to do with the story of Shaytan and that famous conversation that he had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after God asked him to do sajda. But if you pay attention to what Shaytan told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it gives us an indication. It helps us understand why Shaytan ended up being who he is. The reality is that after Shaytan, he did not do sajda. The reality is that he never owned up to the mistake that he made. So the verses of the Quran go like this. قَالَ مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَّا تَسْجُدَ إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, why is it that you did not do sajda to Adam? قال أنا خير من خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. He said, you have not, I'm created in a better way. You've created him from dirt and you have created me from fire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that he has to leave, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that he could live until the day of judgment. And then verse number 16 says this. And this is really now that point where Shaytan knows he's going to continue to live, and Shaytan declares to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he is definitely going to misguide the individuals who come after him. But pay attention to what he says at the beginning of verse number 16. He says, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Because you misguided me, I'm going to sit on their paths, right? I'm going to sit on the path so that when they're walking by, I start to whisper in their ears. The important point here is this, that after this conversation that Shaytan had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still he sits there and he says, فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. Because of the fact that you disobeyed me, or rather misguided me, I am going to now do this. So what we take away from this is that even after this conversation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had with Shaytan, he still walked away and he did not take responsibility for his own mistake. He still, even at this point, puts the blame and the fault on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes we end up doing the same thing as well. For example, when we're talking with brothers, sisters, parents in the household, how many times do you find that a person will spend hours and hours to argue, but he simply won't take on the fault, he won't take the blame, he won't simply say, you know what, I made a mistake, I apologize, and move on with life and learn from the mistake. If we ever find ourselves in a situation like this, we have to understand, this is exactly how Shaytan would go about things. That's the main characteristic of Shaytan. He never takes responsibility for the deeds that he did. At the end of the day, he still said, Ya Allah, you misguided me. So let us not be like that. When it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I make a mistake, it's on me. When it comes to my family, my loved ones, anyone that I'm interacting with, if I make a mistake, let me, instead of arguing and spending hours and hours, let me just own it. Let me just admit that I made a mistake, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy will then encompass me, and the mercy of those who are around me will also encompass me as well.